Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Let's just play some e4 and hopefully we will have the chance to play. Alright, we'll have to face the Elekine. So I will teach you a nice system against the Elekine, which is knight c3. So we're preventing any sorts of crazy lines. My opponent went knight to c6, so I will just play d4 and now I already have my beautiful and strong center. D6 is funny. I could play bishop b5 with the intention of going c6, but I will just develop my pieces. I'm just feeling more confident developing my pieces. All right, e5. Against e5, we have a couple of moves available. For example, we have the capture on e5. The point is that if pawn takes, I can capture on d8. Now, if knight takes, I win the pawn. And if takes, king takes, the king can't castle anymore. So I will just take on e5. Yeah, and if knight takes, then once again, I will just trade everything off and win on d8. All right, if knight takes, I take, and I'm winning a pawn, and if king takes, all right, I will just play the move um, bishop to b5, which is threatening to take, and take. So let's be it. Knight e5, and I'm winning everything. Of course, he could have played some knight e4, after which I had some other moves in mind that I will be showing you. All right, and now he went knight e5. So I have a lot of moves available. I can capture, and go for the fork, which is winning an exchange, maybe a whole rook. But I can also, instead of taking on e4, take on c6 first, which is forcing the black's position to recapture the knight because it was a check. And now I win the knight on e4, and I'm up a piece. And being up a piece is good. So I will play c3 against this check just to prevent, to prevent him from giving me more checks. And now I will play the move short castles, which is on one move away of actually connecting the rooks together. Yeah, that's basically how it goes. All right, this is okay. He's activating the rook. Nothing wrong with that. I will just play b3, which is not necessary, but I will play it. All right, g6 is weird. I would just improve my bishop and put it on this diagonal and eventually unleash the laning potential of the bishop. Now, I can play f5, and if he captures, I win the rook. So I'm okay with trading off the knight for the rook. Yeah, and so be it. I'm winning the rook, and we have it. Yeah. He can go king d7, after which I would just give him a check. All right. Everything is fine. I'm activating the rook, putting it in the center. If he goes king e6, my bishop is getting attacked. I would just move the bishop away just to make sure it's no longer getting attacked. Yeah, and then I will play rook e1, start attacking the pawn on e4. And all right, now he's just trading everything off. I will go attack the pawn. He will have to defend the pawn with something like king f5, but he did not. He's playing bishop f6. So when you're up a lot of pieces and you can trade off a couple of pieces to play an easier position, you can do that. I will just trade off the bishop, capture the pawn on e4. If he attacks my rook, I will just defend it. Notice how it's simple to play with the rook. And now I will just go for some winning stuff. For example, putting the rook on the 7th. If you have the chance of putting the rook on the 7th to attack your opponent's pawns, do it. Yeah, I would just go snap the pawns. If he goes a4, I can capture it, but I can also just capture on c6, let him capture on b3. Yeah, and now I'm just capturing the very next pawn. I'm attacking on g6. He's not defending the pawn, so I guess I will just go eat the pawn. Now I have another fork, rook g5. I'm attacking both pawns at the same time. I will just capture the a pawn in order to defend my other a pawn. Yeah. And now I will just start pushing and turn my pawns into queens. Yeah. That's simply how it goes. Right? And I don't want to be losing my rook for no reason, so I'll just move it away. I could have captured the pawn. Sorry if it goes a little bit faster. By the way, before making a queen, I'm just making sure there is no stalemate. There is nothing, so it's all right. And now I will just go for the staircase checkmate. So the staircase is when I'm connecting my rook and my queen like following, just to start giving checks. And now I will give checks until it's mate. Check, king b2, check. If he goes king a3, I will checkmate him in one move. And if he goes king a1, I will play a4. Why? Because I'm allowing him to stay here, but I want to have another piece just to literally have some sort of a staircase. And we will make a queen with checkmate. Uh, he blundered very fast. Let's just keep playing. Maybe the next game will be more interesting than that. I'm sorry, not that the game wasn't interesting or anything. All right, my opponent is giving me the center, so I will just go grab the center. All right, my opponent is allowing me to have two pawns which are working in the center, so I guess I will be doing that. I mean, it's okay. My opponent's going for some sort of a system opening, but this is a mistake. You know, if you're a beginner, don't go for system openings. Go for openings which make sense and are systematically giving you a way to play, a simple way of playing, but not systems. You know, it's okay. Okay, he captured on c5. I will go e6 just to recapture the pawn. It feels like he wants to go b4, but if b4, I can go knight takes. So he has to capture on c6 first, and then when I recapture, then he will play pawn d4. Which is a little bit dubious. I shouldn't have done that, to be fully honest with you. I played a little bit too fast. Um, but yeah, it is how it goes. My opponent is playing very well, fairly well. He could have captured and go b4. The game wasn't over or anything. I wasn't even worse, I think, but the game would have been completely different. Not better or worse, just different. All right, I don't like the move 95. I want to be able to push my pawns forward, so I'll just play bishop back to d6 just to eventually have something to do with my pawn structure one day in the future. Okay, be careful. Every time you want to play a move which initiates a couple of trades, calculate to make sure that the captures do not lose. Here I'm attacking the knight, and I think that if he goes knight d4, he's lost. Why is he lost? Okay, he went for this move. I would just castle then. If he went knight d4, I would have capture on h2 and then queen d4. So I guess it wouldn't have been decent, not even good. Yeah, I could have played h3 maybe, h6, because now he can go queen e2 to fight back in order to grab the pawn, but he's not fighting back. This is very interesting. I don't know what he's trying to do here. Um, Okay, I'm thinking about giving him a check, and if he moves away, I have e3, but I'm not even sure it's winning. I mean, it should be fine. I will just capture on f3 just to, win yet another pawn. So now I'll be up a pawn because he will have to recapture, and therefore I'll be up a pawn. So yeah, my opponent didn't look for real captures or active moves. If you're trying to attack, like my opponent obviously try to be very accurate in your calculation. Don't be afraid of calculating. Okay. Now I can simply chase the knight away because I don't like the knight being so close to my king. So I will just chase it away. At the same time, I'm giving myself some free, squares to run away. So that's basically how it goes. Yeah. Um, yeah. 94. Okay. I will just simplify the structure. I will capture on e4 with the intention of a little bit regardless of how he captures back, I will try to go queen h4. Now I can't because obviously it's hanging, but I can capture on e4. And once he captures back, notice that my bishop is great and that his king is open. So I cannot go queen g5 because the bishop is guarding, but I can go queen h4, which threatens checkmate. I'm up a pawn, I'm threatening checkmate. I would say I'm better. Yeah. Also, I might be playing rook d8 or rook a d8 just to keep the rooks on this side of the board since I'm basically playing on this side of the board. And the idea would really be to stay there. Um, okay, I'll play rook d8 and I'm having a tactical threat. My tactical threat is to go queen h2 check. If he captures back, I will go, okay, now he played bishop there. Um, I mean, it's fine. I guess I just won't win immediately. But I guess it's normal. So I will just play queen g5 check, just getting out of the attack, and that's how it goes, right? The king will run away, and I don't want the rook to arrive on the g file, so maybe I will play something like bishop c5 just to prevent rook g1. Um, okay, he's trying to trade the queens off. I will trade them off since I'm up a pawn. So playing an endgame when I'm up a pawn is fine, obviously. Yeah, he has to. Okay, he forgot about the pawn, but did he actually? If I capture, he has rook b1, and then eventually he captures on b7. So I will just go for a check first. No, maybe I will just capture on g3. I don't need to be keeping so many things on the board. Rook f2 is forced. Okay, he had to go rook f2 to defend the pawn. And once again, rook on the seventh is super strong. Like this is very impressive. And now I'm going to double on the seventh. If you know, there's a grandmaster in France, Sébastien Mazet, who said this sentence once while playing Title Tuesday on the Blitzstream channel. He said his trainer told him that if your opponent, if you have the two rooks on the seventh, I mean, you can go, make yourself a sandwich. Now, when the two rooks are lined up together and doubled on the seventh, it's important to aim for the king. And here, when the king is stuck like that, there is a very funny checkmating pattern, which goes check. The king has only one move, it's king h1. After which, notice, the king is almost mate. One check and it's mate. And this rook cannot stay there forever. Check. Because once the king goes back, now I won't put the same rook there. I will put the other rook. And notice how the rook, which was on d2, arrived on g2 and then h2 to let the other rook jump to g2 and checkmate. All right, let's just keep going. Next game. Okay. Let's just keep going with e4. If you want me to play any other opening, just let me know. Once again, the Alekhine. Let's just go punish the Alekhine. He's giving me the center. I'll be reacting in the center. Last game I played knight f3. I will play it again because he played e5. And yeah, once again, I can just capture. Yeah, and now, okay, pawn takes. I will just capture on t8. He cannot go knight takes because he's losing the pawn. He decided to go knight takes. He's losing a pawn. It happens. It's normal. It's not simple. Chess is not a simple game. Yeah. I will move back. One day I might be threatening e5. If he castles, though, I cannot play e5. Because if e5, after castling, he can just go rook e8. So I won't play e5 to force because of rook e8, and then there will be a lined up, and the pawn wouldn't be protected enough. So I decide to castle first, and now I'm threatening the pawn with e5. e5, because now with rook e8, it's no longer pinned. So that is quite a small issue. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. Okay, I decide to take the bishop. Yeah, I think I would prefer to capture the bishop. Yeah, I mean the bishops are stronger than knights in theory. On paper, it depends on which position. Yeah, yeah. I will just go bishop e3, bringing my pieces into the game. He's defending the pawn, so I guess I can play bishop f5 with the intention that if he goes rook d6, I can capture on e6. Now if he goes rook takes or pawn takes, I can capture on c5. And notice that the knight was no longer protecting the pawn. So yeah, and I'm about to capture the pawn, but I have to be careful because if he goes like rook c8 or rook e8, let's say I capture in b6, the bishop is trapped, and I don't want to be trapping my own bishop. So instead, I think I won't even capture the pawn back. I will just put the rooks on the d file. Now, sadly, he's letting his rook hang, so I will have to capture the rook. Very sorry about that. And yeah, now I would trade off the rooks because since I have two rooks and he has only one, much, I would just enjoy trading off the rooks. Right. Now I see that the king is pretty unsafe since I'm up a rook, and I see that I can use my knight. So I will just attack the pawn, and once he moves the knight away, I see a funny move. Okay, I see that I can go knight d6, which is threatening checkmate. So he's defending against the checkmating threat, but it's okay. I will still give him a check. Then I will still go grab the pawn on f7. And yeah, sadly, it's winning. Yeah. It's very, very sad. There isn't much we can really add to this. And sadly, my opponent is once again doing some tactical mistakes. Notice, by the way, guys, with all the uploads that are just arriving on the channel, that the reasons why I'm winning now isn't because I'm the greatest or anything. I didn't have to produce anything without, of course, trying to tell my opponents they're morons or anything. It's not what I'm trying to do or say. What I'm trying to say is that people underestimate the value of tactics, and there is no reason to. Tactics is super simple to train and to work on. You open up chess.com, you open up WeChess, you start solving puzzles. If it's too hard, take yourself a trainer for one or two lessons and, slowly but surely learn and practice calculation to stop making tactical mistakes. And then with time and practice, you will learn to no longer commit tactical mistakes, not only in puzzles, but also in real games, you know? And now I'm just going for every single pawn. And, if you're preventing yourself from a lot of tactical mistakes, you will prevent yourself from losing games for no reason. No, I will just go make a queen, practice this staircase mate, and yeah, and I'm going to win. Yeah. By the way, subscribe to the channel. This is important. I will never say it enough, but like, you can support the channel with subscriptions, like, shares, comments. So thank you very much. All right, and now of course staircase checkmate. All right, do we have more games? We will see. Maybe he doesn't want to. He wants that. It's very good. Nice. Let's keep going. Let's just see. All right. Once again, he's giving me the center. This time I will just try not to blunder. So I will just play c5. I will play knight c6, and if he goes d4, I will be capturing. Exactly. I don't want to allow him to take there. Pawn takes. All right. Now the knight is misplaced, and it's actually an exchange Caro-Kann. Yeah, and now I will play bishop to g4. Yeah, with the intention of playing rook c8 in cases he wants to take. All right, e6. Now I'm just fully developing my pieces. When it comes to the opening, you don't need more than that. Like Daniel Naroditsky always said, um, you don't have to be a genius to be rated like 1000, 2000, 1500, 1700. You just need to properly bring your pieces into the game as smoothly as possible. Try not to blunder in the middle game. Then end your game, win, lose, regardless of the results. Just keep going, right? Keep going, learn from your mistakes, and slowly but surely you will get better. And of course, it goes a lot faster with a trainer. So this is why, this is this type of game where you need a trainer, you need a team to get better. You need someone to help you get through. But here, for example, this is a tactical mistake. Now, your opponent played h3, and the problem with h3 is that he didn't calculate the move captures. He calculated there, and he forgot that I can capture the pawn. And then I will be forking once again. Um, so now he will get surprised and he will take back with the G pawn because he will realize that the pawn is weak, but it's too late. No, he didn't calculate. See, he didn't take any more time to make sure that something else is playable. So it's not that he can't calculate, it's just that he's not trying. He's not trying. And this is a problem. This is the reason why he's eventually, losing a couple of games in a row. Of course, we can tell that I'm outplaying him, I'm titled, and there's also a pressure when he sees CM. Sure, we cannot deny that. But the thing is, this is the next step if he wants to get better. I know it sounds harsh, it sounds, you know, it feels like I'm just trying to put him under some sort of pressures and such, but it's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just telling you what has to be done if you want to get better at chess. Learn from your mistakes. Here, for example, he missed that after queen d1, he's defending the c2 pawn, and this is pretty important because I'm forking and winning an exchange. Yes, so yes. So yeah, sadly. Okay, now if I capture back, I mean, if I capture the queen, he captures on d8, and I don't want it to happen. So I will just capture with the queen first and keep this tension alive in order not to lose my chance of winning an exchange. All right, so he's giving me the shot right now to trade the queens off and then win the exchange. But just for some pedagogical purposes, I will play queen to e5, which is threatening checkmate. So in between move. I'm threatening mate and I'm threatening to win the exchange. Yeah, and if he goes g3, I will capture on a1, and then I will have some more tactics. For example, notice that my queen is having a lined up with the bishop. And now I'm threatening pawn d4, which is going to attack the knight, which is defending the bishop. So sure, he will have some knight e4, and to grab the bishop, I will show you the line in a second. Sadly, my opponent missed that there is a checkmating pattern over here, so I will be checkmating him. Small detail. Here he had to go like g3, after which I could have played the move d4, and if you go knight e4 captures, there is a capture on d6. So I would have captured here first, then do this, now capture, just to end up with the same position, but without the complexity of having a knight on c2, which is not capturing the rook. Yeah, so this is basically how it goes. Is my opponent interested with one more game? Yes, he is. Thank you. a lot of players would have accepted the rematch. So congratulations, never change that over Nixon. Never change that. Very nice player. All right, e5. I will keep going for the same line. He has to go king takes. King takes is definitely all right. It's just that here, after king takes bishop b5, he has to find a move knight d4. Blundering again the same way. All right. If knight e4, once again knight c6. I just hope he won't blunder it a second time. Now he just, yeah. I mean, the game was already lost before that. It's just that, he's losing the exchange now. I think the opening choice isn't good enough for you because it feels like you're training chess. The thing is, I can tell you're training chess. You have an opening system. You're definitely locked in. It's just that you're not quite having it for the moment. It's all right. See, I can capture. The thing is, I don't want the knight to be capturing back, so I will go bishop g5 to pin the knight. I can definitely tell that you're locked in. You definitely train chess. Definitely. There's no doubt about that. Sadly, it's just not the right system. It's not the right opening for you. You should be aiming for something more classical. Yeah. He has to go bishop f5. Sadly, he blundered knight e4 and the knight is pinned. So sadly, my opponent is going to lose uh, the piece and therefore the whole rook since I captured the rook on h8. h6, all right. I will just capture on f6. He has to recapture. And now I'll go knight g6 just to get my knight free. Depending on what he will do, I will be winning this or that. Now I will just capture here. So yeah, that is how it goes. I will play rook to d1, just activating my rook. If he's trying something like that, I might just play f3 to defend the knight. Exactly. With f5, I will have to move my knight away since now it's getting attacked by a pawn. Yeah, sad. But I mean, sad. It's normal. You cannot prevent any losses. And this is something very interesting. I have a student right now. I mean, I have a couple of students that are playing the World Amateur Chess Championship, the 17, 2000, and 2300 category. And every single one of them are having quite hard times right now in the first rounds because for a couple of the players, those are, their first tournament. And they're losing games. One of them won in the first one in the 2000 category. I don't have the right to say the name yet, and I don't want to because I want to show you who my students are once they would get higher rated than that. Um, and only if they accept it. Not everyone is accepting to be shown as I'm a good player, I'm his students or anything. Anyway, I fully understand that. There's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, what some players tend to not understand is that they have the level required to win. They have the level to win the under 2000 and the under 1700 category. But what the players do not understand is that in chess, regardless of how locked in you are, of how serious you are in your training, how close you are from getting to your goal, to your dreams, there's one thing you do not control, and this is the outcome of the game. You do not control how severely outplayed you are going to be in the first round, in the second round, in the rounds of your tournaments. Regardless of whatever you ever want to achieve, the only things you do not control in chess are your opponent's bad moves and genius moves and the outcome of the game. And this is hard. And I've seen, for example, in some Discord servers of some YouTubers that I'm following, I've seen, for example, a French player. I don't remember the name. He was on the edge a couple of times already to be a FIDE master. A couple of times. In, and he had his title shot, you know, many, 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 many times, very often. And the problem is that every time he was on the edge of just getting his FIDE master title more than 20 times, as he wrote down. I don't know if it's the truth or not, but like he wrote down more than 20 times he was on the edge of getting his title, right? And he lost every single time, even against 1800s. So there is something in the approach which changes because he is on the edge of getting a title, and this is normal, and he doesn't control how unlucky he's going to be to get his title. And he will get to this title. He definitely has the level to. And then suddenly he's losing 90 rating points and 100 back, and this type of thing. And he's just going back and forth just because he's one game away of getting his title, and something just collapses. And yeah, this is absolutely normal. What do you want to change? What do you want to do against that? You can't do anything about it. You just do not control how silly a title game can actually be. My title game was crazy as hell. I was dead lost. And then I got my candidate master title anyway. The game that gave me my title shot was the cleanest game I've ever played in my whole life. In my whole life, I have never played such a clean game. Um, yeah, you do not control that. All right, in this position, I didn't talk about the game at all, but basically, I can play knight b2 because if he captures, I win the queen, and if he goes to attack my knight, I can capture back, and if he captures the knight, I have d3. Yeah, and yeah, this is the way it goes. There is a saying, in the US, we say that very often: fake it until you make it. When I was training chess, I was faking it hardly. But like, I was talking about how great I was. I was basically the guy who will become whatever he wanted to be. And I really believed that. And at some point, I got it. I did that, and I never had to be l- lying because I was definitely lying, but because I needed that to be in the right mindset. And eventually I got there. Now I don't need to lie about my achievements in the sport anymore. I know what I'm capable of. And just that back then I wasn't, right? And I think this is maybe what he's missing. Yeah, maybe he's just not aggressive enough. Maybe he's just not putting the minds into it. He's putting the effort, he's putting the work, definitely. But maybe in the mindset something is off. And this is something one of my students is also missing. So I had a student from Sweden. Let me know if you're watching this upload. She was on the edge, one game away, 1 or 2 games away of getting 2100 FIDE to get her woman FIDE master title. And we started training together when she was 1700. So she basically got up. I don't know if she's allowing me to use her name or not, just to show who I train and such. But she's one of the players I really, really want to present to the chess world. She's very strong. And she played the European Team Championship this year, and she represented Sweden. So, everything is there. And she was a game away at the European Team Championship to get her Women FIDE Master title because she needed like 4.5 or 4 points out of 7. And she was there. She had to, she had to get this level. She's basically at the level. She's worth that. And she was just one game away of getting this Women FIDE Master title. But something collapsed mentally. Hopefully she won't take it harshly if I say it now out loud. But something just switched and she somehow cannot clinch. She has the level too, so it's just a matter of time. But something doesn't want to click. And once it will click, she will get there. And I don't know what it is. Maybe she's not. I mean, she's definitely patient enough. She's definitely patient enough. It's just that she's one click away, and that's it. All right, my opponent is just having a hard time with the games. Checkmate. I didn't analyze anything during the game, but the opening choice was already much, much better. Much, much better. I can definitely tell that. Um, yeah, that was definitely funny, right? Definitely decent. Yeah, let's just keep playing e4. Let's just keep playing this line. Mm, Here I know he doesn't know anything more, but yeah, d5 is now the top theoretical move. And here the move is e5. And if you play e5, it was the king of the jungle. Yay! Hello, brother. You're on the camera. Mom, get the camera. Yeah, anyway, now my opponent's giving me a huge center. He has to go c5 to strike immediately. After which, okay, he plays f6, which is risky because I can capture, but I will go knight e5. I'm sorry, knight f3, with the intention that if he captures on e5, I will capture back with the knight, and suddenly my knight will be super duper active in the center. Bishop g4 is a nice move. I will play bishop f4 with the intention that if he captures, now I will capture with the bishop. And regardless of what he does, regardless of what he does, I basically have an open e-file for my rook one day in the future. So even if he goes knight c6, I will just move back, and e5 will be a hard move to play because I'm just having this nice grip over the e5 square. And this is the whole point of the system, of the setup. Anti. Anti-Alekhine, exactly. Okay, he's attacked my bishop. I don't want to let it, to let him capture. I'm about to play castles. Notice my grip over the e file. Yeah, notice my grip over the e file. At some point, I will play h3, and the bishop won't be there to defend the e6 pawn anymore. This is exactly what is happening. If he captures on a g3, I will capture on g4. He captured on f3, I will capture back. Notice the amount of pressure I'm applying against this pawn. And he's dropping the pawn. I don't know if it's good or bad. To be fully honest, I didn't calculate anything right now. Maybe I'm blundering something. I think I'm close to blundering something. Okay, of course not. Of course not. No, I'm not. And yeah, and now I will slowly but surely keep building pressure. I'm up a pawn. I mean, I didn't have to capture the pawn that quickly. I could have played bishop e5 first or anything else. Yeah, so I will just play queen e5, just to keep an eye on the knight. Yeah, I'm now giving a hard time to my opponent to deal with my pressure on the e file. I'm one move away from having an Alekine's gun. Yeah, an Alekine gun is actually very strong. Yeah, I think he has to go. Okay, he blundered. I think he has to go for something else. All right, here I thought that I can capture and go for check. Maybe I should even go for check, king f8, but no. If I capture, checking there, I don't have anything more than that. So I will just go for my Alekhine gun. Yeah, and notice beautiful Alekhine gun. So I will just take a screenshot because this has to be put into the miniature of the upload. Yeah, great Alekhine gun. What's funny is if he captures. Oh, actually, I missed a tactic. I had bishop h7. Oh no, I missed bishop h7, king takes queen h5 with check. And yeah, I definitely missed that. I missed that. Okay. I'm feeling tired, to be fully honest with you. Not tired of my opponent or anything. He didn't do anything wrong to me. I've been just playing a lot of chess today. Yeah, and now if g6, I cannot capture the knight immediately because he can just trade the queens off and then capture on e1, and I would be losing an exchange. But instead, after g6, I think I can go rook takes, because if you go queen takes, I take it, right? And if you go knight takes, then at the very, very, very least, I just have check, king goes somewhere in queen f7, but we will see. Maybe it's all right. I mean, yeah, we're having a couple of things here and there. All right, now I can take there because if he goes knight takes, I have mate on h7, and if he goes queen takes, I'm winning the queen. So check. He missed that. He had to trade the queens off. Yeah, after queen takes, I win the queen, and after knight takes, I have check. If the king goes to f7, then it's this, and if he goes to f8, which is maybe the best. Okay. Here Okay, here I wanted to go for this check. If he had gone king f8, I would have played bishop g6, but I would still play bishop g6 here. Yeah, and this is just mate. Because if he goes king f8, it's mate, and if he goes king f6, I just go rook takes or bishop takes, and this is still going to be checkmate. All right. Great. Does he want to keep playing? All right, he doesn't want to. All right, thanks. Uh, okay. All right, so it was actually pretty decent. If you have any more questions, just let me know in the comment section. See you in the future. Subscribe to the channels. Follow me on Instagram. Take care.